Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. It's always a pleasure to have you guys watch my videos, and I will always keep adding at least value and to you guys. It's such a pleasure. I am here right here in UAE, and it's always an honor and privilege actually to be sharing my mind with you guys. And I always want to add something, always I want to add something unto you guys. So basically, let me talk about this. Guys, human life all matters, regardless whether you're a person of color, whether you're a person of whatever it is. We all matter, and we ought to treat each other with mutual respect and dignity. We need not to treat people with contempt, regardless of how you figure out life, how you think life matters to you. Maybe perhaps you think like life matters to you more, whether you have the wins and losses. I don't know how you take life for, but just look at the recent killings of people. Look at the Floyd George who was killed. Do you think he has a family? Do you think his children or his child, how are they going to live without their father? Think about Brooks, who was killed as well. Do you think they have a family? Do you think they have a wife? Do you think they have members of the families that they look up to them to take care of them? And so if we think that life all matters, then why do we treat people with contempt? Why do we take black people to be less of human beings? It's sad, guys, but the whole journey, the whole talk comes back to us, the black people. Have you seen our fellow brothers and sisters being maltreated in China? How many African presidents were able to come up and speak about that? How many of them? All I am saying to you guys is that life of the black person doesn't matter. We are all less of a human being. That is the truth of the matter. I don't know how you take my message, but take it from me. I give you for free. I share my mind for free with you guys. Black lives doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all, because if it matters, look, in the past 2 years, we had a U.S. citizen, a tourist in Uganda, getting lost in Uganda when she went, for tourism in Uganda. How much were the embassies responsible to see to it that they were able to rescue the woman? Whole black lives doesn't matter. Why I say this? Look, if they kill a black person in the streets of whatever USA, all black people can do is to go and march. And when they march, it is finished and it is taken down the history lane. Look, they haven't started killing with only Floyd George or Brooks recently. There have been lots of lives who have been lost. Think about this. When Martin Luther King Jr. started the I Have a Dream campaign, think about how many people whose lives were lost through slavery, and the hard work that they did everything to see to it that America it is today because of what it is, because of our forefathers they laid their life down to see to it that they worked so hard through the slavery to make America what it is today. Regardless of them maltreating and mistreating our black people, the black counterparts. But it is also our problem as the black people. How many presidents are being able to come up and start speaking about unity, about togetherness? I think about the lives of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah from Ghana, the likes of Julius Nyerere from Tanzania, the likes of Nelson Mandela Madiba from South Africa, the likes of Thomas Sankara. How much more sacrifice do we need the people who are right now, who are alive? Those people sacrificed their lives. You don't need to be motivated to make a difference in people's lives. If you think the killing of black people in America doesn't matter to someone like Hitler in UAE, if you think black lives in America doesn't matter to someone who is killed in USA and you are in Uganda, you cannot speak about it. You are in Rwanda, you are in Egypt, you are in Morocco, you are in Chad, you are in Senegal, Dakar, you are in Tripoli, you are in whatever it is you are in. Maybe DR Congo, maybe Central African Republic. If you think that black lives who are in America doesn't matter to you, then you have a problem with your head. You have a problem because sooner or later it's gonna hit at you. They always say the co-wife who laughs at the other being beaten, sooner or later will come also to her. Think about this. If George was your brother, if George was coming from your nation, what do you think? For how long shall we always have the black people being associated with poverty? How many times have you seen the devil being associated to white people? How many times have you seen Jesus being made black? How many times have you ever heard of people saying poverty? And what comes to your mind? I imagine you are thinking of a child who is, malnourished. A black child who is deep down in Democratic Republic. A black child who is in Senegal. A black child who is in Chad or Ghana or Nigeria, Lagos. For how long shall we see our fellow continent, our fellow countrymen not coming to speak? They always say injustices denied, Think about this. When people who are just keep quiet about injustices caused to the people, that is the beginning of oppression. If we have the people who know better, they can speak about the maltreatment that are occurring across the globe, then that is the genesis of being people who don't care for each other. Think about this. Many lives of the blacks have always been lost in the hands of the military, in the hands of the police. But all the black people do is march on the streets, and if they finish the marching, it is done and gone forever. You will never hear of anything. Think about this. If a black man had killed a white person in America, if a black man or black men killed about two or three of the white people, how much do you think the governments in place, they will come up? Think about this. George Floyd killed. Just soon after the 8 years of a black man in power in US, what do you think it means? Black lives doesn't matter at all. This is the truth, guys. Let's be honest with each other. It is high time we need to rise up to start building strong economies, to see to it that we have nations and we have economies that are strong to stand on their own. We need to build businesses that are going to support the black continent, whatever you want to call it Africa. We need businesses, we need leaders, we need presidents and heads of states who want to work together. Let us build blocks. Let us start with East Africa. Let us start with West Africa. Let us start with North Africa. Let us start with, the West Africa. I want to see Lagos rising up to work with Ghana. I want to see Nigeria coming to work with Ghana and Senegal as one block, that they open the borders for free trade. Think about this. A good meat in Kansas is delivered in Mississippi at free cost. A good mate in California is reaching New York at a free cost. How much more do we need to do as the third world countries of the world? Think about the first world countries. They are doing everything it takes to see to it that, they develop their nations together. We work about the politicians. Think about this. If all the black Americans, they get together and unite as one force, and next US is in the campaign season now. If all the black people, if the black American people, they get to rise up and stand as a bloc and tell the people point blank, if we vote for you, we are not going to vote for you unless you're going to do for us something. And when they don't do for you something, you don't vote for them as a bloc. That is the beginning of where people will treat you with respect. But if we are seeing black people who are not uniting, if we are seeing black people who are made it in life and they're not coming back to help people in Africa like Akon is doing, building a city of his own in Senegal, lighting up Africa in Kenya and many other places, then we are not gonna get out of this shit, guys. Let's be honest about this. Think about it, Think about this, guys. Let's see people trying to treat the black people as people who matter, as people who deserve respect and dignity. If we don't rise up, Africans, if we don't rise up, fellow countrymen, we aren't gonna get better. If we're seeing dictatorship in Uganda, if we're seeing a President Paul Kagame there dancing around, around the constitution, they treat it as a paper, then we are wrong, guys. We are not going to get any far with this. If we have leaders who think that, they are supposed to, they fought their way to power and they are not responsible, they are not accountable to people, like many years ago you had Museveni saying it point blank, that I am not a servant of anybody, I'm a freedom fighter. And no wonder they say at the same time that I have been elected, the people are still needing me. Who is the people you are speaking about? If we don't rise up, fellow countrymen, Ugandans, next year is election year, we need to do away with the Museveni regime and all their cliques who are doing all sorts of mismanagement of funds, corruption. We are losing a lot of dollars, millions of dollars every year to corruption. We are embracing thieves in government systems because they are our own thieves at the end of the day. The 40 Alibaba thieves that they wrote about, they are no longer 40 today. They are very many. As I grow older and wiser, the wiser I get, I have come to realize that criticism is not going to help us. Africa, what do we need? First of all, we need to build strong economies to develop our nations across the continent, that we have the money. And when we have the money, we can buy the politicians. The politicians, if they are not going to represent the issues of the Wananchi, the common people, we do away with them. If they are going to listen to us, let them build judicial systems that are going to work for the people. Once they build the judicial system that is going to work for the people, then we can have media houses that speak for Africans. The Africans, our own issues are supposed to be addressed, starting from unemployment for the youth, who are the majority of the population, the future of tomorrow. We need them sorted out. We need to have businesses that are built to help the common young men across this continent. Let us have leaders who are not thinking that, for business, for somebody to be lent money to invest in business, they have to have the cash flow. Think about this. Oh, do you think Amazon or Apple, they were created by God. And on the eighth day, there was Amazon created by God. No, guys. The first world countries, like for example USA, they are building strong economies. Why? Because they are having businesses that are built to help generations, not like us Africans who are thinking of creating or taking our children to study in schools, to you just master the mathematics, to just master the history, not to take our generations further. We want to build businesses to help people just in the corner of our house. When people, the first world civilization, the Western civilization, are thinking of developing students and pupils who are solving world problems. They are thinking of building students who are going to be innovators and creative minds to solve the problems of the world. If Apple could exist for 13 years, they cannot make any profit. Amazon for 30 years, they are not making any profit, but they are existing anyway. Because if one person dies, if one person has run out of the money, there is a second person willing to take that business until when it starts making money. For how long shall we see Africans not rising to the occasion that we need unity as of yesterday? Until we do that, we are not going to get any further. Until we do that, people are not going to they are not going to take their knees off our neck. Many of the lives will continue to be lost. I think about our forefathers seated in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, talking about the need for us to unite. If we didn't unite them, then the new colonialism is gonna come in place. And guys, if you are alive now, we need to rise up to the plight of the fellow man. If we think the killing of the black people in America doesn't touch us in Africa, sooner or later your brother or your fellow countryman is gonna face the same thing if we don't rise up to this. What's the burning platform for Hitler? I think about my child and many of your children who are going to come 100 years from now. If we don't address these issues now, then our children are going to be faced with the same challenges that we are going through today. We are going to see many of our children still being killed and murdered in broad daylight like George Floyd. We will see many of our black counterparts being shot at as they shot Brock. And don't think that they know that he has a family to take care of, he has children to take care of. Guys, we need to rise up, Africans. Africans, the time to have the hard talk is now. If you guys are not willing, I'm willing to lead a campaign, call it Hitler Black Awareness. We need to rise up, Africans. That is the burning platform. Think about our children to come 100 years from now. Thank you so much, guys, if you're listening. But how I pray that we take to action, not words.